Welcome once again to the Pet Show. Are you being ignored by your Irish setter? Does your favorite feline have you totally freaking out? Is your Frenchie acting totally ferocious? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and really want to understand your dog's or cat's behavior, almost as well as they understand yours, if you're confused about your dog or cat's behavior or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned because once again, right here, right now, it is time for the Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet loving. You get the idea. This is the show where we help you cope with your pets, but a lot more likely help your pets cope with you. Plenty of time for your calls. As always, lots of great stuff to give away. So hop up on my couch. Let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never, ever a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Evergreen Pet Show family, maybe you want to find out why your dog is depressed, or your cat is having difficulty getting along with the new cat, or your dog is jumping on everyone, digging holes in the backyard, your cat woke you up in the middle of the night, looks at the litter box and says, there's no way I'm peeing in there. Get the idea? That's what the Pet Show is all about. Resolving any issues that you may be having, whether it be jumping, humping, digging, scratching, in a positive, upbeat way from an understanding point of view. We don't just correct our dogs and cats here on the Pet Show. We figure out why the problem exists, and generally, like any good therapist, when in doubt, it's usually mom and dad are the cause. Great time to give me a call. As I said, plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Hugs and kisses, Lucy pet food, hip to be square treats, kitty lickies, doggy lickies, air horns, copies of my best-selling books. I also have the T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright. Lots of great stuff to give away. Everyone that calls in that hasn't spoken to me for a while will get a fabulous gift for their dog or their cat. And again, if you're new, it's not like I'm giving away biscuits here, folks. Many of the items I give away here on the Pet Show are worth $25, $35, even $50. So if you have a question or a comment, just want to share a great story about a dog or cat that helped you grow up. I love all the animals that I had when I was a kid. Or maybe a great dog that you recently adopted, or a great cat you recently adopted. Or maybe you have a specific question. Maybe your two cats aren't getting along, or your cat's not coming when you call them. Your dog is pulling you down the block. Great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870 KRLA. That's 866-870 KRLA. But if you're more of a numbers person, that's 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, just want to share a great story. That's what this show is. It's the Pet Show. So if you have questions or comments or stories, or you want to brag or talk about a dog that maybe helped you get through school. I mean, I remember when I was going to Long Island University, C.W. Post College, yeah. The same campus that the Post cereal people lived on. That's where I went to school early on. There was always a cat or several cats around that just kind of hung out, making the students feel better. So if you have a question or comment, want to share a great story like that, great time to call me. 866-870 KRLA, 866-870-5752. We have what I think is a really interesting show today. Obviously, your questions, your comments are always my priority. But I do want to share some topics with you. I never get to all of them, but maybe today we'll give it a try. You know, dogs can also show love, affection, playfulness, and happiness through their body language and behaviors. How can you tell if your dog is happy? I mean, really, how can you tell if your dog is happy? What are some of the signs that you're living with a happy dog? I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 866-870 KRLA, 866-870-5752. Also coming up on today's show, you know, some of the most common questions, cat questions specifically, I'm asked here on the show. For example, you hear me recommending cardboard boxes over and over again for your cats and wonder why why cats are so intrigued with cardboard boxes and why I'm such a big advocate of cardboard boxes. Well, finally, on today's show, I will share that answer with you, and you'll figure out why not only I, but your cat loves cardboard boxes as well. And I know, folks, it's not the sexiest topic to talk about, but I get so many questions on the Pet Show about poop-eating dogs, and today I'll explain the whys and what you can do about those poop-eating dogs. You want to make them as kissable as you possibly can, but it's pretty hard when they're poop eaters. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. So if your pet happens to be jumping, chewing, scratching, maybe that rescued cat is a little confused about the litter box, or that beautiful dog you rescued is not housebroken. Maybe your dog doesn't get along with other dogs and believes that the people next door are meant to be barked at, or maybe your dog believes he has to hump everything he sees. Great time to give me a call. Lots of great stuff to give away. Plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. And the question of the day, even if you just want to answer the question of the day, I'll still send you a gift. I'm in a gift-giving mood today. How do you know when your dog or cat is really happy? How can you tell when your dog or cat is really happy? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. As I said, lots of great stuff to give away on this show. So someone asked me this week, I was doing an interview, and someone said to me this week, Warren, I know you're a behaviorist. I know you're a trainer. I know your background. I know the military, the police, whatever. What about your dogs? What are Molly and Willie really like? Well, let me tell you about Molly and Willie. These are my rescue dogs. They're so trained to the point where I need them to be trained. They're incredibly lovable. They adore everybody they see. Now, everyone just assumes that I would have the perfect dogs or the perfect cats. Wrong. I don't want a perfect dog. I don't want a perfect cat. I want dogs and cats that have the ability to think for themselves, to react accordingly. I don't want this little robot doing everything I tell it to do every time perfectly. So I said sit and it didn't sit the first time. What's the big deal? I'm not dealing with Rin Tin Tin or Lassie here. I'm not dealing with a search and rescue. I'm dealing with your dog or my dogs at home. I like to give them the opportunity to be themselves, to be kind of like me. And I got to tell you, when I was growing up, I didn't listen a whole lot either. So yeah, if you get an 80% or 85% response from the dog you're living with, that's what you should expect. Don't expect 100% response. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, now, argue with me if you want, you may. I honestly believe that a dog that is perfect is boring to live with. I believe that a person that's perfect, I hope Denise isn't listening, is boring to live with. That's just the way I am. So I like being challenged by the animals around me. It just makes the whole world different. Great time to give me a call, by the way. You all say you love your dogs, you love your cats, but how do you know that your dog or cat is really happy? Do they bark? Are they excited to see you when they come home? What kind of body language do they show? Give me a call. Let me know. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. And as I said, plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Real interesting stuff coming up on today's show. I didn't get to it last week. I wanted to try, but one of the topics I wanted to talk about last week was, why do dogs and their guardians have similar personalities? And I didn't get to respond to it. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Is it the guardian's lifestyle, interactions with the dog that change the personality? If you're crazy, do you have a crazy dog? If you're neurotic, you have a neurotic dog. Why do dogs and their guardians have similar personalities? Love to hear from some people out there as well that think that their dog or their cat may have similar personalities to them. Or again, how do you know if your dog or your cat is happy? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So, as you know, I'm living now in Arizona, but I was in beautiful Santa Monica this week for a couple of days. Beautiful place. And it was nice. It was great to see Santa Monica again. Although someone did spit on my windshield at the beach, but other than that, it was a pretty interesting trip. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and I love Santa Monica. I love living there. And I just realized that in my entire life, I've never lived more than 3/4 of a mile from the ocean, other than my military experience. I grew up on Long Island. Well, actually, I was raised for my younger life in a place called Rockaway, Queens, New York, right on top of the boardwalk, literally feet from the ocean. Then I moved to Oceanside, Long Island, near the ocean. Then I moved to Santa Monica, near the ocean. And now I have no ocean around me. And I do miss it. There's something very relaxing, very calming around being by the ocean. So when people say, do you miss California? Do you miss living in California? I miss the beauty of the state. I really do miss the beauty of the state. But I got to be honest with you. When people say, why did you leave Santa Monica? I didn't leave Santa Monica. I believe Santa Monica may have left me. You know, when I first moved there 25 years ago, I used to love taking Rio, my dog at the time, my shepherd. Me and Denise would take him down to the beach. We'd walk him on the promenade. We'd go to 3rd Street and we'd walk him up and down. Man, the times, they are a-changing. Great time to give me a call. The phones are open, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Do you think your dog, or do you know someone who has a similar personality to their dog or cat? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, how do you know when your dog is happy or your cat is happy? Can you tell by looking at them? They have a special mood. Do they wag their butt? Do they wag their tail? Does your dog or cat really smile? I'd love to hear from you guys. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So on my way back, you know, I am a big fan of truck drivers. I just love truck drivers. It's an incredible group of people, for the most part, like anything else. So whenever I get the opportunity, I'll talk to a truck driver. And you know me, I'm driving from L.A. back to Arizona, and I'm stopping at, Love's truck stop or whatever truck stop I happen to be at. And it's amazing to me how many truckers, and hats off to them, how many truckers have rescued, saved, picked up dogs and cats from the streets all across the country when they're driving. What an incredible group of guys. It's actually an organization of truck drivers and their pets. We'll talk more about that in the future. Great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Phones are open. If you have a question or comment, I know it's hard to get through. Maybe today's your lucky day, 866-870-5752. And as I said, I got hugs and kisses back in stock to give away, kitty lickies. I got doggy lickies to give away, copies of my best-selling books, Dog or Cat, Lucy pet food for your dog or cat, those T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright, those air horns, which, by the way, every single pet guardian should have if they walk their dog out of the house. 866-870-5752. Quick break, then we'll get back to you. Because also, I'm going to tell you the real reason people love their dogs. All that coming up, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, if you have a question or a comment about your dog or your cat, they're jumping, they're humping, they're digging, you just want to brag a little bit about this incredible rescue dog or rescue. I had a lady email me the other day that she rescued this dog, and when she first rescued the dog, she thought she made the biggest mistake in her life. The dog was crazy, jumping, humping, digging, scratching, showing aggressive behavior. She gave the dog some time to decompress, and the email said, Warren, I took some of your advice, and I got to tell you, we have the most incredible relationship that I've ever had with any of the pets I've ever lived with. Just got to give them some time to decompress a little bit. Hey, by the way, if you have a question or comment, great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA. Even if you just want to answer the question of the day, that's fine with me. How do you know when your dog or cat is happy? How do you know when your dog or cat is happy? You know, people always call me up, well, my dog's doing this wrong, and my dog's doing that wrong, and how do I correct my dog for this? How do I correct my cat for that? I want to hear from some people who have happy dogs out there and happy cats. Give me a call, 866-870-5752. And I want to know, what is it that makes your dog or cat that happy? 866-870-KRLA. Jim will get to you in a second. So the question came up, I didn't have time last week. Why do dogs and the people they live with have similar personalities? You know, I often joke that if I spent 5, 10 minutes with your dog or your cat, I would probably know more about you than you would want me to know. You know, over the years, I've had the opportunity of working with some high-profile people, whether they be mobsters or politicians, kind of similar in certain ways. But anyway, it's amazing to me how their personalities at home and their personality with their pets were just meshed. But let me share this with you. Something I wrote this week. Is it that the guardian's lifestyle interactions with the dog or cat change the dog's personality? For example, a neurotic guardian could raise the neuroticism of a level of a dog. An overprotective guardian can cause shyness and even fear. I see this all the time. I'm one of those people. I don't assume fear, but I am a little overprotective with my dogs. You know, the guardian's particular personality shapes the dog, and the longer they live together, the more similar they become. Actually, this is interesting. The personality profiles of the dog and their guardian was actually higher in similarity that found in married couples. I definitely could understand that. You know, when we go out and we adopt or rescue a dog or a cat, I really do believe they take on our personalities. There's no doubt in my mind that they do take on our personalities. And you heard me talk about some of my celebrity clients. I told you David Letterman's dogs, Bob and Stan, they had a space between their teeth. They'd be doing stand-up comedy. They were a little bit funnier than he might have been. Lily Tomlin's dog had multiple personalities. Rodney Dangerfield's dog was probably one of the craziest dogs I ever worked with. Al Pacino's dog was pretty mellow. But anyway, they really do take on the personalities and the look. So if you think that I'm crazy or you believe like I do that dogs and cats take on the personality of the people they live with, give me a call. I will send you a super gift. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Jim in Long Beach. Hey, Jim, welcome to the Pet Show.
Oh, hi, Warren. How are you doing?
I am doing good. What's up?
Well, just a couple of things. I just recently ordered an air horn.
Yeah.
One of the kinds I guess they use for either for the marina or it says also for your dog. But I ordered a big one because we had a coyote encounter at Long Beach, actually Seal Beach. There's a channel right there and a walkway where you can walk your dogs right along the channel right there. And the coyote came out of nowhere. And luckily, you know, I got between the coyote and my dog and was able to go put her in the car. And then I went back and chased the coyote away. But the thing is, other people are walking their dogs right there during the daytime without a clue that those coyotes are hiding in the bushes. And it's just, it was kind of scary. But I was just wondering, because I can carry the big one, no problem, which I'm going to start doing if I'm in an unfamiliar area. But for my girlfriend, I wanted to get a smaller, like I noticed they have smaller, like 1 ounce.
Yeah, you know, let me give you an example. On my website, I have the air horns. They're made specifically for dog situations. They're small. They fit right into the palm of your hand. So when you're walking with your dog, you have pretty much your hands free. They fit into your pocket. Basically, they're real easy to carry, and they're absolutely great to use. Now, I am living in Arizona right now. I'm living in an area of Arizona that has more coyotes than I've ever seen in my life. As a matter of fact, I hate to admit this, I go walking every morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's pitch black, right? And all I see is the eyes of coyotes sometimes. But
wow.
the other day, and this is a first for me. I have stepped in every kind of poop in the world. I've stepped in elephant poop. I've stepped in dog poop. I've stepped in kangaroo poop. But this was the first time I ever really stepped in coyote poop. And how did I know it was coyote poop? Most people know about cars, motorcycles, music. I know about poop. That's what I know about, okay? And the bottom line is you can tell it was coyote poop because you can see what they've been eating in their poop. So here's what I do, okay? I carry the air horn with me, but I have found for the most part, and it might be a little different in California than it is in Arizona. Maybe they're a little bit more assertive in California than they are in Arizona. But I know that just the other day I was out there walking, and 2 younger coyotes, maybe about a year and a half old, kind of were standing in the walkway where I was walking. It's a real wooded area. And I always carry a walking stick with me. And what I did is I just raised the walking stick and I said, "Get out of here." And they took off. They're basically really shy animals, but they're opportunists. If they see an opportunity, they're going to grab. So here's my recommendation. I will send, I know you don't want me to, but I'm going to send you an air horn for your girlfriend, okay? They're small, can fit into her pocket, can fit into her jacket, can fit into where she carries the poop bags for the dog.
You can clip it on a leash real easily?
Yeah, it has a clip on it. You can clip it on a leash. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
I wish I wait. Don't go on. Where is it? Oh God, I don't have it. I had one up here. I showed it last week. Yeah, they're small and they're really great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a leash. So what type of dog do you have?
Well, she's like a Maltese mixed with something else, but like a medium-sized poodle. Maltese.
It's a blended breed.
Yeah.
A blended breed. And what's the dog's name?
Mini-me.
What was it?
Minnie.
Oh, Minnie. Yeah, it was my grandmother's name, Minnie. Anyway, listen, don't go anywhere, Jim. Give that dog a hug and a kiss. Watch for those coyotes. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you one of those air horns. Great call by that. Mark will get to you. Walter will get to you in beautiful Mesa, Arizona. Not too far away. Well, I don't know how far Mesa is from where I'm in Peoria, so you have to tell me, Walter. I have no idea. Haven't learned Arizona yet. The only thing I know is the 303 and the 10, and I take this back road. I don't do the 10. Most people take the 10 freeway from LA right in. I get off right after Quartzsite on 60, and I take 60 to Wickenburg, and then I get on this road called 74. And I take 74 into where I'm going. And I go through all these small little towns. There's one town called Hope, Arizona. I posted it years ago. And you go through this town, this little church maybe holds 10 people, and it's big sign, welcome to Hope, Arizona. And then as soon as you go past the town, there's another sign that says, you are now beyond hope. I thought it was great. Just a great, great place to be. Anyway, 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Anyway, I always do that. I love back roads. I've always been a back road kind of guy. And on these back roads, you get to see things, abandoned places and things that were kind of depressed, but things that were real at one time, things that I don't want to go off on a tangent, but when I did Route 66 on my Harley, and I would go through towns that were ghost towns and total ghost towns, and I'm on my motorcycle and I'm riding along, and I actually visualized and heard the towns as they would have been when they were booming towns. I actually visualized kids playing with wheels on the street, or dogs barking, or people hanging. I know it sounds a little eccentric, and maybe I'm a little eccentric, but sometimes the mind does amazing things. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Yeah, Alex, I know I got to take a break. Take a break. Mark, Walter, Mary will get to you. I got a couple of open lines, pretty rare. 866-870-KRLA. Question of the day is, how do you know when your dog or cat is happy? You're listening to my show. I'm assuming you love dogs and cats, but how do you know when they're really, really happy? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Noise I go to sleep with every night. Hey, we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. We're going to get to you, Mark, Walter, Mary, Suzanne. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA. I told you the question of the day is, how do you know when your dog or cat is really happy? But on that note, I didn't get to it last week, but let me do this. I'm going to share what I wrote this week, the real reason people love their dogs. I'm holding it up because I really don't often write stuff, but I wrote this down. Many people with companion dogs preferred them to people because dogs were more loyal and faithful, didn't answer back, more affectionate, more reliable, honest and trustworthy, and were less selfish and demanding. Let me add something else to all of that stuff I wrote. One of the reasons I love dogs is because they never grow up. They always remain loyal. I consider dogs the Peter Pan of the animal world. They never grow up, and that's one of the things I admire about them. Even a 10, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old dog may be a little slower, may not be as happy as it was when he was younger, but they always do something to make you smile and laugh. Yeah, that's the reason. One of the reasons I love them so much is because they never, ever grow up. I'll never grow up. Isn't that Peter Pan song? I guess it is. All right, let me get back to the phone lines here. We have Mark, and then we have Walter in Mesa. I got to talk to you, Walter. I don't even know where Mesa is, and I probably don't live that far away. Then we got Mary in San Pedro. But right now, let's go to Mark in Linwood. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hey, Warren. How are you doing today?
I am doing pretty darn good. It's not so hot in Arizona today. It's not even going to be in the 3 digits, so I'm okay.
Okay, great. It's 73 here in Los Angeles.
Oh, knock it off.
When I jumped in my truck just a minute ago, I caught the tail end of you saying how our pets grow onto us.
Yeah.
I can remember about 20, 30 years ago, I used to drive a semi-truck, and I had to go to this one company, and they had a gate guard. And he had this little wire terrier. And when I pulled up to the gate for the first time, I looked at the dog, and then I looked at the guy, and before I can even say anything, the guy said, "Yeah, I know. I get it all the time. What could I do for you?" They were twins.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because there was in fact, there was a book. Oh, I can't find it. There was a book written many years ago, and one of the reasons I'm mentioning it is because they have a whole chapter in it specifically of photographs of people looking like their dogs. I'm telling you, I have worked with so many Afghans, and people look like Afghans, bulldog people. Sometimes you got to double check. I know it sounds ridiculous to some people, but dogs really. And some of them have that total physical personality look, but some of them just match personality. But you're absolutely right. I have seen dogs that I said, which end of the leash is which? They look so much alike.
And real quick, I know exactly how when my dog is happy. I tell you what, she's a shepherd. She's a German shepherd, and she squeaks and barks and goes in circles, and that tail just goes a million miles an hour. So that's how I know she's happy.
Well, let me stop you for a second. I'm very familiar with German shepherds, as you know. And the bottom line is this. They don't wag their tail. They wag their entire butt. That goes back and forth, then back and forth, then back and forth.
They wag it, and they drag it, and they squeak, and that's when she's happy. In fact, I just pulled up to the house, and I know when she hears me, you'll probably hear her squeaking.
I'm sure. What great call, by the way, Mark. So you don't drive a semi anymore, huh?
No, I gave that up a while back.
Well, I'm telling you, some of the nicest people I've ever met. And, you know, I used to drive back and forth from New York, and I drove back and forth from Sedona to L.A. almost weekly. And some of the most incredible people I met, a couple of strange ones, but for the most part, the most incredible people I met and big animal lovers are these truckers. And they all pick up these stray dogs or at a shelter because it gives them comfort and companionship when they're driving the long distance driving.
Yeah, Warren, also real quick, if you get a chance, look on YouTube. There's this one semi-truck driver that has three small dogs, and he has a ramp that he uses for the dogs to go on the truck, and it shows him stopping at a truck stop, letting the dogs poop, and then each dog goes up the ramp and it stops at the top, and he takes some wipies and he wipes their bottoms before they go in the truck.
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Anyway, listen, Mark, I got to move on, but don't go anywhere. You got a German Shepherd, so I know part of your home is dog hair, so I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats for your pet. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm going to take a break, and then when we come back, we get all your calls, I promise. But I want to share this with you. I get calls, and you know, if you listen to the show, my cat backs up, and he scent marks this, and he's scent marking that, and he's scent marking this, and this is the way cats scent mark. And I've heard professionals say, this is the way cats scent mark. Well, let me tell them, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. Every part of the cat's body is used to claim territory. For example, they'll rub their body as a scent mark, rubbing their paws as a scent mark. They'll rub their head to claim territory. They have scent glands and even scratching to mark their territory. Many, many different ways your cat lets you know that, in fact, they are in charge. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. You know what? Let me try to get Walt. I'm going to have to put him on hold, but let me go to Walter. Hey, Walter, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi,
hey,
Warren.
Walter, where is Mesa? I'm in Peoria. Where's Mesa?
Mesa's East Valley, over to the Superstition Mountains.
Oh, so I'm in the West Valley, you're in the East Valley.
Yes, sir.
All
Not
right,
far,
I'm learning.
40-minute drive, maybe.
I am definitely learning about Arizona roads, and I got to tell you, when you people complain about traffic, I just got to laugh at you. I just got to laugh at you.
It's pretty good.
Anyway, what
East
can we do
Mesa,
for you?
Arizona is beautiful, may I say.
It is really, it's a beautiful, beautiful. Well, you know, I've been here before. I had a second home in Sedona for a while, but I really like living in the Peoria area. It's just exactly where I want to be. You know what? Let me do this,
rolling,
Walter.
Bella.
I don't want to rush you, Walter. So let me put you on hold. Let me take a break. We'll come back. You'll be my next call. And then after Walter, we got Mary, we got Paul, we got Suzanne, we got Mark. We got all your calls. I promise. I got all these papers in front of me I want to share, but your phones are my priority. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So the question of the day is, how do you know when your dog or cat is happy? Well, I'll tell you how to make your dog or cat happy. Give them kitty lickies or doggy lickies, and then watch the smile on their faces. You know, you still with me, Walter? Hey, Walter, you still with me?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, so I understand from my computer that you have a question about a year-old puppy that does not like to have his nails trimmed. Do I have any suggestions? Yeah, let me tell you. I've yet to meet a dog that says, please trim my nails. I enjoy it. Most dogs are not thrilled about having their nails trimmed. So the first thing you need to do, I know you said a puppy, it's a year old. Have you tried clipping its nails before?
I have tried, and the groomer has tried, and he does the alligator roll to stop from trimming.
Okay, here's the thing. Right now, between your groomer and yourself, the dog has negative associations with having his nails clipped. What we need to do right now is reaffirm with the dog that having his nails clipped is not that terrible, not an easy task. So what I recommend you do is take out the nail clipper just before you feed him, just before you give him a treat or a new toy. Don't clip his nails. Just lay it down near his food dish and walk away. Let him start associating the sight of it with something positive. Then if you're sitting around with him at night watching reruns of Seinfeld, maybe have the clipper in one hand away from the dog and just kind of make it go click, click, up and down, up and down, up and down without touching him. The other thing that's critical is you start massaging the dog's feet. The more you massage the dog's feet, the more comfortable he's going to be with having his feet touched. Then what I do is what I call the fake nail trim. I pick up the claws, I pick up the feet, I take the clipper, and I make believe I'm clipping the nail. Say, how's that good? How's that good? So I'm trying to turn a negative into a positive. Does that mean your dog's going to come running to you and say, hey, Dad, I need my nails clipped? No, but at least you can get to that point. The other thing that you may want to try is they now have these grinders. I don't know if your groomer tried. They have these grinders. It's kind of like how can I describe them? It's kind of like a little bit of a grinder, and you can grind the nails rather clip them. And a lot of people have had more success with that. In the past, they've been really noisy, but the newer ones are a lot less noisy. So that's another option. But the most important thing is, I got to be honest with you. I have never met a dog, I'm sure there are some, but I've never met a dog that really enjoyed having their nails clipped. Why? Every nail has a vein in it. It's called a quick. And most people clip it a little back too far. So it's not real painful, but it's kind of like a hangnail, and it'll bleed a little bit. So again, massaging the feet, making a positive association with the nail clipper, little by little by little, you'll get to the point. And then when you can clip the nails, just clip one, put the nail clipper away, 2 days later, another one, and that's the best way to do it. Now, if the groomer is unable to do it, you have to remember the dog's in a foreign place at this point, with a foreign person at this point, which makes it more difficult. Practice what I said, and I think it's going to make a big difference for you.
Thank you.
Walter, don't go in and put Walter on hold. And we are going to sell Walter for his year-old puppy. We're going to send Walter some doggy lickies. Give him some doggy lickies. That'll stop. Does anyone out there have a dog that enjoys having their nails clipped? Give me a call. I want to hear from you. I'm sure there's somebody. I remember when I was in Europe, and one of the things I had to do was some of the dogs I were working with were not they were friendly, but they were pretty tough guys. And when they didn't like their nails clipped, we had to come up with certain ways of doing it. We did. We turned a negative into a positive. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to Mary. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. Thank you for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What's up?
Well, one of my dogs, about 2 months ago, she decided that she wanted to be hand-fed. And she's 2. Her name is Lexi. And yes, she is a rescue from the shelter.
What kind of dog? What kind of dog? What type of dog?
One of my other dogs passed away.
What type of dog is it? What type of dog?
3/4. That was Baldwin, but this is Lexi. And I would say,
Mary, what type of dog is it?
All of a sudden, she's not eating on her own, and of course, we don't want her to not eat. So I hand feed her. I hand
Okay.
feeder when I.
Mary, can you hear? Mary, can you hear me?
I,
Can Mary hear me?
There's been a rare occasion when.
Let me put Mary.
On her own.
Mary. I'm putting you on hold. Listen to me, because obviously you're not hearing me. I was asking what type of dog it was. That's number one. It's a rescue dog, wants to be fed by hand. Let me do this. Let me take a break, Mary. I'm going to come back. We'll get to your call about your dog and being hand fed. I definitely want to get to Suzanne. Interesting call. A lot of people are going to relate to that. Great call from Howard, Neon, and Venice Beach. I was just down there the other day. I got Paul calling from Englishtown, my friend Paul from Englishtown, New Jersey. Hey, Paul, Raceway Park. I'll get to all your calls. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So let me take a quick break. We'll get to your calls. Mary will figure out what's going on with the phone. You should be able to hear me, because I know I can hear myself. 866-870-KRLA. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls. Mary again, to see if you can hear me now. Mary, you still with me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you earlier.
Okay, so now I understand you have a rescue dog. How old is he?
It's a she. She is 2 years old, Lexi, and she's a poodle mix, poodle, Chihuahua, Cocker Spaniel, and Husky.
A blended breed again. But so how long have you had her?
I have had her since June of 2023.
Okay, and when did this wanted to be hand-fed start?
About 2 months ago.
And can you figure out why? What changed? Anything different?
No, other than we had a heat wave. Other than that, nothing different. I've been working with her all year. She's a little bit reactive. She was found as a stray. She's still pretty young when they found her. But other than that, she's always eaten on her own. There was one time last year where this kind of surfaced, and then it went away. But now it seems to be that most of the time I have to hand feed her.
And what happens if you don't hand feed her for, let's say, a day or a day and a half?
She doesn't eat. And it doesn't matter if you put fresh chicken, cooked chickens, or crumble treats or anything like that. She just doesn't eat it. There's been maybe twice where she did eat it, but for the most part, she just ignores it. And I recently went on a trip and had her boarded. And I just picked her up this morning, and I said, how did she do? She did fine, but we didn't feed her. And I did have the vet look at her. She's fine. It's just, it seems that maybe she had some kind of experience. I've heard you, the reason I'm calling is I've heard you talk to the cat owners where they don't use the litter box. And maybe she had some kind of experience with the bowl. I'm not sure.
Well, first of all, what type of bowl do you have?
I have a round bowl, a ceramic bowl. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me do this. I have to break for the top of the hour. You don't go anywhere. You stay there exactly where you are. That goes for you, Suzanne, because you'll be up after that. And then we got Howard, we got Neo. We're going to get to all your calls. So don't go anywhere. We did a really short break for the top of the hour. We'll come back. We'll get to all your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I'll go after and I'll tell you exactly why, Mary, that your dog may want to only be hand-fed now, what you can do to resolve that issue as well. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of good stuff to give away. 866-870-KRLA. Suzanne, Howard, Neon, Paul. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to your call. But let me get back to Mary from San Pedro. Mary, you still with me?
Can you hear me? Are you there?
Now I can hear. So here's the deal. There could be a lot of reasons why a dog all of a sudden started eating or wanted to only eat from your hand. One of the reasons, you said this was a rescue dog that was out on the street, correct?
Correct.
And he was out on the street, you don't know how long, but you've had him how long now?
A year, a little over a year.
Okay.
The dog wasn't out too long because she wasn't very old. I mean, she's only...
But sometimes what happens is when people see a stray dog on the street, with good intentions, they may try to go to feed the dog, and when they go to feed the dog, they may have some type of negative reaction, or the dog may have some negative reaction. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. Number one is Ceramic bowls are okay, but ceramic bowls tend to hold scent. So I would be more apt to want to use either stainless steel at this point. Now, for my own dogs, I use a combination of stainless steel and paper plates. And the reason I use paper plates is I just want to be able to throw them out every day. That's just the way I like to do it. But here's what I want you to try, okay? I think this might be beneficial for you, and I've known many behaviorists and trainers have tried this before. What you can do is find a new dish, whatever type of dish you want to use, stainless steel, paper, whatever, just not the ceramic at this point. When you start feeding the dog out of your hand, give the dog a little food from your hand, and in your other hand, you have the bowl with some more food in it. Go back and forth between the hand and the bowl, the hand in the bowl, the hand in the bowl, the hand in the bowl. The other thing you might want to try is before you put down the bowl is heat up his food a little bit. A lot of dogs don't eat with their mouth, they eat with their nose. And if their nose is not smelling something perfectly, or if their nose is stuffed up, or if it doesn't smell right, that's not good. But heating it up is going to make it smell better. It's going to make the dog more apt. The dog's sense of smell, that was my specialty, understanding a dog's nose. Their olfactory is incredible. But it sounds to me, part of it can be, and the fact that the dog's with you all the time, this can't be it, but sometimes there was some type of trauma or traumatic experience with a bowl or with eating. Is it possible that when you fed him one day, maybe he knocked over the bowl, or the bowl made some kind of a weird noise? Is it possible that he ate something from that bowl and maybe he wasn't feeling good afterwards? Maybe he got something caught in his throat temporarily, or maybe he was constant. So they learn that associative energy. So that associative negative energy can be many reasons why he stopped eating. Here's what I want you to try. Heating up the food, different bowl. What I would also try is feeding the dog out of several dishes. Try this at first. Try some paper bowls, just paper plate bowls. Put them on the floor, put some of his food in one, some of his food in another, move them around 3 or 4 feet and leave them there. Also at the same time, try feeding one hand and try the bowl in the other hand. That's the best approach at this point. I think that's going to resolve it for you, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Well, that's a great idea. Thank you. I had not thought about the scent on the bowls. And it's likely that there could have been something happen. I just don't know what it would have been.
But when they said he ate when he was boarded. They said he was eating fine.
No, I'm not sure, but that's actually an excellent idea, and thank you so much.
Mary, don't go. Mary, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. When you boarded the dog and you picked him up, was his weight good?
Weight was good.
Has his poop been good?
Also.
Oh, so they fed him by hand also.
Yes, they fed her by her. It's a her. Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you, with as many dogs as I deal with.
I said, "How did she do?" He says, "Oh, she did fine, but we had to feed her by hand."
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you some doggy lickies from Lucy Pet. I want you to put some of the doggy lickies on top of the food in your hand and in the bowl. See if that doesn't make a difference for as well. There's many reasons that, dogs that were abused or the food was taken away, or if there were, I didn't ask, but I'm assuming there's not. If there were other dogs in the household, that could be part of the reason as well. But dogs are kind of interesting. Their sense of smell is so strong. So if the bowl doesn't smell right, it's not going to happen. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Great call, by the way. 866-870-5752. Speaking of great calls, listen to this. Did you know that 7 in 10 dog guardians care more about their pet's health than their own? Yeah, I worry more about Molly and Willie's health than my own. Absolutely. Let's take another call right now. We are going to go to, I'm going to take you guys in order. So we're going to go to Suzanne, and then we have, after Suzanne, I believe we have, I'm just going to take you guys right in order. So let's go to Suzanne first, then San Pedro. Hey, Suzanne, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I could not be better. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to take you off speaker. So here's my question. I have a almost 12-year-old black lab, Charlotte, and she's been showing some reluctance to get in and out of the car recently. She's in good condition. Anyway, I took her to the vet yesterday, and they gave her a Librela shot, and I wanted to know what you thought about Librela.
I'm not familiar with Librela. My background's in behavior, but in terms of the dog being in pain, did they recommend anything like maybe acupuncture or hydrotherapy or any type of physical therapy for the dog at all?
No, I can't really afford that, for one thing. I mean, I'm sure it would be beneficial. She's yelling because my daughter's eating a hamburger right now. She And anyway, she, she's very, very active. She's almost like borderline hyper. She's in good condition.
Yeah, but the fact that she's feeling pain, we want to manage the pain the best we can. Listen, I have rheumatoid arthritis pretty severely. So, yeah, there are medications I'm on. I have to go for infusions, okay? But at the same time, I still do alternative exercises, whether it be, I'm not advocating yoga for her, but whether it be hydrotherapy or acupuncture or cold laser therapy. There are ways you can work this out and ways you can figure out that it's not as expensive as you think they are. It may be less expensive than getting the shots as often as the vet may want to give them. So it's something I would consider at this point. I think the vets are on target. If this is going to help with the pain, that's good. Anything to alleviate the pain. Have you bought her a ramp or steps to get in and out of the car?
Well, that's kind of like the next step because that's what my vet said too, that I should get her using a ramp. I'm nervous that she won't because she's nervous about going up and down things already.
Well, what you do is you take the ramp folds down to floor level. You take the ramp, you put it on the floor, just leave it on the floor so there's no incline whatsoever. Let it get used to walking on the ramp when it's totally flat on the floor. Then little by little, you can start raising it. I think it's important. The concept is that the dog, if the dog is no longer getting in and out of the car comfortably and refusing to get in, not only the physiological aspect of it, but the psychological depression that may click in as well. So I want you to get that ramp, practice with it, make sure it's carpeted so she can't slip. I don't know whether she's going to prefer a ramp or stairs. That's something you're going to have to go back and forth on until you figure out. They have stairs that you can use to get into the car as well.
Okay, I like that idea of practicing it when it's not attached to the car because I know she gets shy.
What's the only way to do it? It's the best way to do it. Anyway, I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, for your dog, I'm going to send you some hip-to-be-square treats. That treats will help her get up and down that ramp as well. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. It's interesting because years ago, and no one has more respect for veterinarians than I do, and, very often I'm on the phone with veterinarians 4, 5 times, 6 times a day. They're asking for my behavior advice. But they're great when it comes to the pain. But there are alternatives out there. I'm not an abolitionist. I believe that you should use conventional veterinary care, but I'm also a believer that you should use conventional veterinary care maybe in combination with complementary veterinary care. I think the two work really together. I know people that rescue dogs and have been rescuing dogs for years that take their dogs to pet rehabilitation centers, and what a difference it's made. The quality of life these dogs have is entirely different once they go through this. So it's something to consider. A lot of people are unaware, but the fact that you live in Southern California, it's advantageous because there are places, I think there's one in Long Beach, there are places out there where you can get the physical type therapy for your pets. If you live somewhere in Iowa, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Excuse me. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Neon in Venice Beach. Hey, Neon, welcome to the show. Hey, Neon, how you doing?
Hello, yes, hi, Warren. Thank you for taking the call. Thank you for your show. Great advice, even just listening. I want to ask you a question. I adopted a dog about 5 months ago from a woman that basically had living situation problems, and she wants to visit with the dog. And I tried it once before. She feeds the dog junk food like McDonald's stuff and things, and it seems like an unstable situation. And that Millie is, she's gotten very confident, and, we bonded. She's gained weight. She's acting like a real dog. She wasn't acting like a dog when I first met her. I'm wondering what you think of that.
Okay, here's the deal, okay? I'm assuming the person you adopted the dog from had a really difficult time adjusting to the fact that she had to give up her dog, correct?
Yes.
So,
long story short, yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. I grew up in a Jewish household on Long Island, okay? Where everything about love you had to eat. It's just the way it was. It was food. And a lot of people have that approach. So here's my feeling, okay? Number one, of course you want her to be able to visit the dog. You wouldn't want to cut her off from that. But in terms of the dog, now the dog is your responsibility. The health of the dog is your responsibility. So what I would say to her, listen, I know this is what you did there, but right now the dog is readjusted to what I'm feeding the dog on a regular basis. I have some special treats here at the house. If you want to give the dog these special treats, I don't have a problem with that. But the bottom line is I don't think it's a good idea to be feeding him something like maybe once a week or how often she sees him that may throw his system off. Is giving him a McDonald's every once in a while going to kill him? Probably not. But more importantly is this dog has to live with you. And the fact that she's coming over and she's using food as a love approach to him, that's not the best way. I don't mind the food aspect of it. I just don't like what she's feeding. So I would recommend having some treats for her so she can give them to the dog without bringing stuff outside into your home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a little more complicated, I think, than just that. But
why would it be more complicated? Okay, we know that feeding a dog a good, healthy diet is better for the dog. It's going to make the dog live longer. It's going to make the dog a lot healthier. So there should be, and you love the dog, I can tell. She loves the dog, I can tell. So what should be decided here is what's best for the dog, not what makes her feel better, not what makes you feel better. What's best for the dog? The dog's going through enough stress being in a new home now, and he's adjusting. So I would definitely say, have a bag of treats. I'm going to send you some. Have a bag of treats when she comes over. Have her give the dog the treats, but not the hamburger. I think that's the way to make the transition. So eventually she can spend more time, if you don't mind, with the dog without worrying about if the dog's getting improper nutritional stuff.
So you think the visiting part of it is okay? It's not confusing her to see her old owner?
No, I know. It all depends. What's the dog's reaction? It all depends on if the dog's reaction is okay when she leaves and she's happy to be back with you, I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. Okay, great.
Neon.
I think I mentioned to you or to your call-in lady that I have been trying to find the salmon doggy lickies. She loves the salmon doggy lickies and won't really touch the other brand, the chicken ones. I'm wondering where I can get them. I've looked on the website, on the Lucy Pet Food website, because she loves the Lucy Pet Food.
Yeah, I would go back on there. Probably, every once in a while they may run out. Manufacturing is what it is. They may run out, but they'll get it back in. Or send them an email. They'll tell you when it'll be back in stock. That's where I get mine from. So that's how I do it.
Okay.
Anyway,
right.
Listen, Neon, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you some kitty lickies for your dog, and maybe by chance there'll be some salmon in there. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, we got Paul, we got Howard, we'll get Taylor, I believe it is. We'll get to your calls. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Got a couple of open lines. The phone number, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. Before we get back to the phones, I want to talk about a subject that no one wants to talk about. I get calls on the phone, I get texts, and in my almost 45 years on the radio with you guys, it's one of the more common questions we get asked. So, if you're eating lunch or breakfast right now, put it down for a moment. Just put it down for a moment. So the question is, why does my dog sometimes eat his own poop? You know what I'm talking about. If you live with a dog, it happens, right? The reality, this is what I wrote on my YouTube. By the way, if you're not following my YouTube, check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. This is an important subject because a lot of dogs do this. The reality is some dogs just do this. It's rather gross and, of course, alarming, but why is exactly a dog motivated to eat poop when he has plenty of other options to choose from? Most people in my field agree on two reasons. Number one, an animal might eat his own poop or that of another pet when he feels that he needs some kind of vitamin that's lacking in his own diet. It's amazing how natural they can be. If there's something lacking in his own diet and he picks it up in some other dog or other animal's poop, he's going to go there. The other thing is very important. As a behaviorist, I deal with this all the time. People get angry when their dog poops in the house. So what they do is when the dog poops, they take the dog over to it and they yell at the dog. Bad dog, phooey, what did you do? Wait till daddy comes home. You're going to get it. And the dog understands that if he's had an accident in the house and the people find it, he, in fact, is going to be corrected, punished, God knows how. The theory is, and it's not a theory, but it's a theory that people say it is, and I don't believe that the dog understands he might get in trouble for his action and therefore eats the poop to hide the evidence. I believe that 100%. Some more I wrote about that. It may be an attempt to get attention. Dog may be hanging around, wanting to play. You don't want to play. You see him eating some poop in the backyard, watch how fast you jump on him. If your dog is eating their own poop, the poop may consist of undigested food. I talk about this all the time. What you feed your dog is so, so important. If he's not digesting and absorbing the food properly, he may eat it because it's already partially digested. Could be indicative of some type of medical problem. Also, one of the things I recommend is this. Now, this is going to sound a little weird. When you take your dog out for a walk, give him a special toy in the yard to hold in his mouth. If he has that special toy, it's going to help prevent him from wanting to eat his own poop. There are many reasons. It's horrible. It's disgusting. But the dog's not doing it to make you angry. There are reasons the dog may be doing it. I have gone into homes where the dog was so overly corrected for having accidents by the people that he lived with. I mean, in some cases, physically, that the dog would eat the evidence rather than get caught with it. So there's many, many different reasons. So don't get angry at the dog right away. Try to figure out why. Is it nutritional? Is he not digesting his food? Is there a medical reason for it? Is he not getting all the supplementation of vitamins he needs? There's always a reason. Always a reason. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Just before we get to the phones here, you know what, let me get to the phones and I'll get back to you. I do have a couple of open lines. Great time to give me a call. I still have Hugs and Kisses for Dogs to give away. I still have copies of my best-selling books, either dog or cat. I have Kitty Lickies, the new Doggy Lickies, Lucy Pet Food, those air horns you heard me talk about. If you don't have one, don't blame me when you see coyotes, and those T-shirts that say, none of my friends walk upright. And I got to tell you, I see those T-shirts all over Arizona now, and I'm sure I'm going to see them all over LA as well. If you want to check out the T-shirts, go to my website, thepetshow.com. And by the way, that money goes directly to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, which is my own 501c3. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Okay, let me take another phone call right now. I'm going to go to my friend Paul in Englishtown, New Jersey. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, how are you?
I am doing good. How you doing, Paul?
Good. You always make me feel good when you acknowledge Englishtown from your racing days.
This is Englishtown, New Jersey. Listen to me. My 1970, I was still in the service. I bought this 1970 Duster 340, which was a pretty fast car, right? And I would take the pipes off, and I would run straight pipes, for those people who know what I'm talking about. And I would go down to Englishtown, or I'd go out to the ice flip track on Long Island, and I would race my car. Don't ask me if I won or not, but I would race. I would race my car. But I just remember the commercial. The commercial was so great, you know. So anyway, what can we do for you, Paul?
Warren, this is the first time. This is a house of dog and cats. We lost our last cat 2 weeks ago, so we have no more cats, and we have one dog. In fact, I'm laughing because he's watching Mom eating Zeppelis that she just got from the San Gennaro Fair.
Oh, come on. Now you're making me hungry. Zeppelis, New York, East Coast, Zeppelis?
Right.
You mentioned Zeppeli in California. I think it's a violin. Go ahead.
So we have the one dog, and the cat that we lost 2 weeks ago was a brother and sister that we got when they were found in a box in the street in Englishtown 16 years ago. The sister crossed the end of May, and the brother Jasper just went. The only thing is, what bothers me is when we had her at the vets and now they were giving him the injections, he kind of reared up a bit in a lying position and started howling as they were giving him the injection, or whatever you want to call it. Now, like I said, I've been with my other dogs, cats that have gotten it, and this didn't happen. This happened to this guy, and that still bothers me 2 weeks down.
Okay. Listen, Paul, and Howard and Tila, please kind of bear with me as well. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you perhaps the reason that you heard the cat howling when it was being euthanized.
Right.
And it goes back to my experiences with working some of the most incredible behaviorists in Europe. But we'll talk about that when we come back. So I'm going to put you on hold.
I'll be here.
And then we're going to get to Howard and Tila as well. I do have a couple of open lines. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm living in Arizona now, and I live not too far away from this great lake called Lake Pleasant. And I've been at Lake Pleasant a lot. It's really nice down there. But when you drive in Lake Pleasant, you see all these signs telling you to beware of a certain animal. And the reason for that is the miners had these animals, and when they stopped mining, the animals became wild and they lived there. I'm talking about jackasses, folk. And I love looking at these signs that says Jackass Crossing. And I'm saying to myself, man, they would look so much better in Washington, D.C. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. By the way, for the gentleman that called from Venice Beach, the salmon lickies are available at Amazon.com. So they are available at Amazon.com. You might want to check it out there. Let me get back to the phone lines here. We'll try to get to as many calls as we can. We are going to Howard in Fullerton. Hey, Howard, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Yeah, I've been listening to your show for a long time, many years. So I figured you might be able to answer this question for me. My dog is she's a rescue. She's about 9-10 years old. It's a Chihuahua mix, and I think she might be mixed with a Labrador, but I'm not sure. But about 2 years after we got her, she started getting recurring ear infections about 3-4 times a year.
Yeah.
And the doctor had asked me if I was keeping up with the flea medication. I told him, well, not during the winter, so he suggested that we give her the flea medication, throughout the year, which we started doing. I'm giving her Simparica. And that cut down the ear infections, but she still gets them about twice a year. Now, a while back, I was listening to someone on the radio, and they were talking about food for dogs, and they were saying that we feed them chicken, boiled chicken, and brown rice and vegetables. Sometimes we'll throw in some soup stock from some soup that my wife will make. But they were saying that chicken isn't good for some dogs because it causes ear infections.
I've never heard that. I have never heard that. Never, ever. But let me tell you about ear infections. Now, you said you have a blended breed, Chihuahua and maybe Labrador. I want to see how that relationship, I want to see who was the male and who was the female. I want to try to visualize how that happened. But that being said, are the ears up or the ears down?
Pardon me?
Are the ears up or the ears down?
Yeah, they're up.
Okay.
Like a Chihuahua. Yeah.
I had a very similar situation with one of my dogs currently living with me. I use something called Zymox. You ever hear of it? Zymox? You can get Zymox at Chewy, Amazon, probably Petco, PetSmart, any of those places. Now, there's two different kinds. There's Zymox, which I use as a cleanser consistently. And there's another Zymox that when the ear gets bad, you can just put that in the ear and it will help. It has what's the word I'm looking for? Not cortisone, but something similar in it. So I keep my dog's ears clean. I use Zymox. I would recommend Zymox for cleaning and then having the other Zymox around when it does become infected. That's where I would be at this point. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somewhere down the line there's dogs that react to eating chicken. I just have no personal experience with that as of this point. But the Zymox is what I use on my own dogs. And as I said, it's been used for years. It's available, Amazon, Chewy, wherever you want to get it. There's one for cleaning, one for when the dog has an ear problem. And that's what I would recommend. And continue seeing your vet, but that's what I would recommend at this point.
Okay, yeah, I have an appointment with the vet today. The doctor has given her ear cleanser before. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but
yeah. But if you're only seeing the doctor a couple of times a year, I clean my dog's ears. You got to do it maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. If it's a constant recurring thing, you'd want to clean them more frequently than seeing just when you see the vet. So tell the vet I recommended Zymox. It's a vet recommended product. I recommended Zymox for you to keep the dog's ears really clean and see what he says. If he agrees, fine. If not, you'll have to take his advice.
Okay. Yeah, she the one that the doctor was giving her for cleansing her ears, it seems like it almost made the situation worse. She didn't tolerate it very well. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what he was using, but I've never had a problem with any of the dogs I've used Zymox on. So you might run it by your vet, but I've never had a dog. And you're right, the dog could have a reaction to something the vet may be using. Tell him that I suggested Zymox and see what he says at that point. I think he's going to agree with me.
Do you think it might be her? I don't know. We're giving her probiotics a couple times a week, and do you think that helps it or hurts it?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend using something that has both probiotics and prebiotics. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses supplement, all right? It has both prebiotics and probiotics in it. I'm going to send you that. You can use it as a supplement. It's just great overall for the dog. It'll help with the hips, the joints, the bones, the shedding. It'll help with everything. But I do want you to run by the Zymox with your veterinarian, okay?
All right, thanks, Warren. I appreciate it.
Oh, Howard, listen.
And I'll ask the vet. I'll ask the vet today about the Zymox.
And how do you know when your dog is happy?
She hops up on my lap and doesn't itch her ears or shake her head when.
Gosh. Anyway, listen, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold, and what did I say I was going to send him? I forgot what I was going to send you. Let me go back. Howard, what did I say I was going to send you, Howard?
I think it was some kind of supplements.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'll put you back on hold. Suzette, I'll pick up. That's where my head is today. We're going to send you a jar of my own. How can I forget my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treat on its way for your dog. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a break. When we come back, we have Paul is back on. We got Paul, we got Roberta, we got Teal. Get to your calls, 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. Just a reminder, if you're new to the show, a lot of people don't know, but after I get off the air here, I do my international show for Radio America, Armed Forces Radio. It's the same type of show. I give away the same type of gifts. I'll give you that number a little bit later in case you're driving around, you want to make a call. That show starts exactly when I end this show at 1 o'clock. So I'll give you that number in a little while. But right now, if you have a question or comment, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. A quick break. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And yes, I know it was coyote poop. I know the difference between coyote poop and mountain lion poop and other types of poop. This was definitely coyote poop. And, they're so beautiful. I mean, I understand how dangerous they can be and how important it is to make sure your pets are protected, but they are beautiful, just amazing to watch. And when you watch them from a distance and there's no fear because you don't have your dog with you, it's kind of interesting. All right, let me get back to Paul in Englishtown, Raceway Park, New Jersey. Paul, now, your question was this. When you took your cat, my heart goes out to you, when you took your cat to cross over to the Rainbow Bridge at the vet, when the vet was giving her the injection, you heard the cat howling. Do I have that right?
Right. My wife said it's not howling, it was meowing, but you know what I mean. It just, something looked like it was hurting her.
Okay. Let me go over a couple of things. I can't say exactly what it was, if there was any pain involved or not, but generally there's no pain involved with euthanasia, so if there was, you might want to run that by the vet. When I was studying in Europe, and everyone who knows me knows I'm not a big drinker, but I would spend a lot of time at guest houses where it's kind of like a bar with a lot of behaviorists, at the University of Frankfurt, a lot of behaviorists there. And we all I learned an awful lot from them. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff, but I learned an awful lot from them. There's something with dogs called the death howl. And very often, just before a dog crosses the Rainbow Bridge, there's what's called that death howl or that death yodel. Now, it hasn't been done with cats or studied with cats, but I honestly believe that it might be the situation you were occurring. I wasn't there to hear it, so I don't know. But there is I don't know whether it's an announcement, say, hey, I'm coming, but I honestly believe that death howl is something legitimate. It doesn't happen often, but certain dogs and cats, when they're crossing over, it's not their way of saying goodbye. It's kind of their way of just accepting the fact that they're moving on to their next place, wherever that may be. Does that make sense to you, Paul?
Yeah, I said, it was very peaceful. I mean, my daughter works, the Red Bank has a tremendous hospital, Red Bank Veterinary Hospital.
Yeah.
The vet that my daughter works with, so, we knew who the vet was. Our daughter was the tech with the vet. We was there and everything. And it's just that it just surprised me. Because, like I said, we've had 3 dogs, so 2 dogs have already crossed, and now 4 cats, and this is the first time something like this ever happened.
Well, usually they give the dog or cat a major sedative before they actually give something to stop the heart. So it sounds to me, I don't think it was a pain situation. I think you can all put your heads on your pillow tonight and say, you know what? There was no pain involved. The cat comfortably crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and that howl was her letting her know, either saying goodbye to you or arriving at the new location. That's how I look at it. And I have held
was there ahead of them.
Yeah, and I've held so many. Now you're going to make me tear up. I have held so many dogs and so many cats, and even my pet 1,200-pound pig in my arms when they had to be euthanized, and being with them is so important. But I really believe that it might have been the what's called the death howl. I don't even like that term. The howl, just letting everyone know, hey, I'm here. Goodbye. Yeah. Nothing to worry about. I talked to you so many times, Paul. I know you and your family, the most incredible pet guardians ever. So yeah. And when the time's right, I'm sure you guys will save another cat.
Oh yeah. And we still have our last boy, who he came 12 years ago. The dog, he came from the streets of Miami 12 years ago.
God.
And he's our last pet in the house right now.
So Paul, let me ask you a question. Do you keep your pet's ashes, or do you bury them?
We get the ashes. In fact, my daughter called to say she got the ashes for the dog and for the cat, and she'll be dropping it off at the house.
I know I'm going off on a tangent. My dentist, my dentist when I lived in Los Angeles, incredible. She's been a dentist for God knows how many years, probably one of the original female dentists. Anyway, her hobby is ceramics. So she always told me, before your dog or a cat or whatever pet you have passes away, I want you to save up a bag of their hair. I said, why would you want me to do that? And she said, just give me the bag of hair. Now, you're not on YouTube, but I'm holding up a pen holder on YouTube. This is a ceramic she made for me. And incorporated in this ceramic is my dog's hair.
Oh.
So always sitting next to me at my desk is Skylar and Cisco. Always. So it's, there are many, whatever makes you feel comfortable is the way to go. But, I'm sure some people save different, but I think the hair and the ashes are the way to go. I have both, so I think that's the way to go. Anyway, Paul, I know I send you a lot of stuff, so I'm going to donate something, okay, in your name. What was your cat's name? What was your cat's name?
It was Jasper.
I am going to donate in Jasper's name. You keep calling me. Say hello to everyone in beautiful Englishtown, New Jersey, and no more Zeppelis, okay?
No. Hey, Warren, I saw that the thing that you said, because I am on YouTube, and I like that, what you had done with the hair.
Oh, the ceramic. Yeah, I think anyone watching on YouTube now can see it.
Saw it.
And yeah, she can make it any way you want it, and it's kind of like when I touch it. God, this sounds eccentric to people out there. I think they already don't know I'm eccentric. When I touch it, it's kind of like I'm feeling them. You know what I'm saying? It's like
sure.
I'm feeling them. Paul, people are going to say, Warren, you've lost it. It's just the way it is. Anyway, Paul, thanks. I got to move on. Thanks for that call. Keep calling me. I just love your phone calls. And again, it was the howl to say goodbye or to hello. Let me take a quick break. I'll try to get back to your calls after this. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA. By the way, the phone number for the network show, which starts at 1 o'clock. Remember now, when you call, that goes into Washington, D.C. for Radio America, Armed Forces Radio. So let it ring a little bit. But write this number down. Don't start calling till 1 o'clock. Start calling then. And if you get through, my California listeners will be first. You'll get the same type of gifts I give away here. That number, by the way, is 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. Start calling at 1 o'clock. I'll take your calls there. If I don't get them here, I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Again, that number for the network show, if I don't get the call, or let's say you're driving around right now, start calling at 1 o'clock. That number is 877-725-8255. Same type of show. Give away the same type of prizes. 877-725-8255. Let me see if I can squeeze in Roberta real quickly. Hey, Roberta. Hello, Roberta. Hi, yeah, I'm going to run out of time, so let me see if I can kind of paraphrase what you're saying. You have an elderly cat that has a cyst under her tongue. That's more of a veterinary question for you. But in terms of her sticking the paw in the water, is that something she's been doing pretty much her whole life?
No.
How long ago did she start that?
Well, since I noticed it's been about a week since I noticed the cyst or the growth. I don't know whether it's a cancerous growth.
Not the cyst. I'm talking about the foot in the water. When did that start?
Since this has happened, since she's been drooling.
Huh. Interesting. Well, maybe water. You know, usually a cat will put their foot in water because they don't like stagnant water. They like water that's moving around. It means it's safe water, plus the fact instinctively if there's anything that can hurt them in the water, like an alligator in the wild, by moving the water around, they can avoid that. In terms of the specific fact that she started putting her paw in the water at the same time she had the cyst under her tongue, I don't have an answer for that. If it started before that, I would understand. But I think, have you gone to the vet yet?
Yes, we've been to 2 vets.
And what did they say about the cyst?
Well, they said that they took blood tests because they said if she was anemic, she's going to lose a lot of blood because if we want to get it removed, it's a lot of blood shed. And so, there's a lot of blood around it. And so apparently she's not anemic. I thought she would be because the drool sometimes is blood tinged. But so now we're just trying to get her to eat and give her antibiotics. Maybe it's an infection. I don't know. Yeah, maybe moving the water around. Maybe she thinks it's going to taste better because when it gets into her mouth, it tastes funny because of what's going on. It's a little beyond my expertise, Roberta. I would follow your vet's advice. I would follow your vet's advice at this point. In terms of the cyst, I know exactly what type of cyst. It's hemo something cyst. Anyway, there is a lot of blood with that. Anyway, I'm going to put you on hold. I want you to go back, check with your vet. In the meantime, I'm going to send you some. I don't know what to send you. I don't even know what. You know what? I guess the only thing I could send you right now is one of those. Is a copy of my cat book on its way to you, and hopefully that you can read that over. Great call, by the way. Tila, call me on my network show, 877-725-8255. I'll try to get you there. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. By the way, if you're not following me on YouTube, why? I share a lot of information, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. And check out my website. People say, well, we want to know more about you. Well, if you want to know more about me, go to my website, thepetshow.com. You'll know more about me than you want to know. I did a great podcast with my nephew, Michael Rosenbaum. You'll learn more about me than I want you to know. But also, while you're there, you can check out a lot of other things as well. My time training the dogs for the mafia and celebrities and presidents. So check out thepetshow.com, thepetshow.com. A lot of great information. By the way, there's a lot of great articles there on the
the website as well, helping maybe some issues that you might be having with your dogs and your cats. Again, the number for the network show, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Start calling at 1 o'clock. I'll get to your calls there. Until next week, give all your pets a big, big hug and a kiss for you, one right between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you again and again and again for listening to The Pet Show.